Let's go, another coding stream. Okay, I still haven't figured out how to make the chat appear in the video itself. How can I do that? Chat, open chat, new window. Can I maybe just do that? Hello, I'm currently trying to figure out how to let the chat be part of the video or of the stream. I mean, I could like put this window here, but it wouldn't stay in the, it wouldn't stay focused. Or can I set this to be always focused? It doesn't look like it. It really does not. Well, in that case, I will just ignore the thing with the chat for now and just live with the fact that the stream is looks better than the actual video that results from it. But just in case that someone watches this as a video later instead of being in the stream, I will explain what I'm going to do now. And if anyone comes around for the stream, then they can hit me up in the chat. So I just deleted a lot of code in my plugin NEL, because NEL actually had a very extensive modulation system that was capable of holding different kinds of modulators like LFOs and stuff. And I decided that it's overkill and that most of the time it is just annoying, because you always have to consider all of these extreme cases just to change anything, and it really gets in the way. So now I'm trying to rewrite the modulation system to just work with something in a way easier way. Very similar to most of my plugins, where there is just one macro, but in this case I still want to have the 4 macros, so it's not quite as easy. But yeah, also while just fixing all these bugs, I'm just low-key looking for things that I can improve about my code style, because all these errors are sending me all across the whole code base. So that's a nice opportunity to just make everything look a little bit nicer, especially when there are words that are just way too long, or for some reason I used this somewhere which really annoys me now. So now it looks good again, and I can hit build and find out which errors persist. And that's why this is called the terrible coding stream, because it really is terrible to look at. So what is the problem here? This is the enter value component. It wants to have the parameter as a pointer. Yeah, I recently changed that this method returns a reference. So I have to pointer that again, and then then it does its thing again. Okay, so what's the next thing? Hello. I'm currently fixing a lot of bugs that only appeared because I made everything, I tried to rewrite everything and to look more simple at some point. Yeah, this is like the most terrible stream ever. I don't even know why I even decided to make this a stream, but I did. So here we are in the actual preset browser, and now I have to rewrite this section because I had to change the method update patch. Before, it took in a string, and that string had like the whole parameter layout in XML file format, but now I changed it to expect value tree. Oopsie. Oh, okay, that's actually correct. So yeah, that's the thing that it expects, and that's the thing that it gets. Actually, let's not make it object for that. Yeah. Okay, so what's the next thing that sucks? Except from everything entirely. Yeah, well, I felt like this might be a good topic for a stream in some way, because it shows that sometimes you just have to be very adventurous when coding and just mess with the entire code base all at once if you want to get somewhere reasonable. And now I'm just trying to get to a point where everything looks more or less like I want it to have, and like everything already looks in my more recent plugins. For example, that I don't want to have all these super long names everywhere, but just the shortcut names that I came up with. Oh fuck, and now everything is laggy again. Okay, that looks good. Anyway. Oh, the utils don't exist here, I guess. So I must give it the thickness, which will be an error somewhere. But yeah, whatever. Oh, I know why this doesn't work. Because bounce f is not defined here yet. So in my mods is GUI, am I not including this here? Like, where is NELG even included? Is it included here? Okay, what if it's not included here, but in mods is GUI? Because if that is the case, then I can just put all of this stuff into mods is GUI. And then I have it in both headers, I guess. But then this also has to be the same namespace, or it will be very annoying to deal with. And maybe I should get rid of this whole namespace, because it really is in the way. But I'm not quite sure if I should. I think I should, yeah. I mean, anyway, I just want it to be better in general at the end of everything. So now there is just one namespace and it's called GUI, so I can call this one GUI as well. And it should lead to an overall better experience now. Even though I now have even more errors. But that's just how it has to be. Okay, so let's get rid of all this crap. And now we can immediately see that things look much nicer. And more tidied up. Now, component still needs some thickness. Oh, actually, no, that only works with if this is a component of my own system. Okay, so bounce thickness. Now this should work again. Okay, and now this one. What does this one need? The fuck? Which overload does this one use? That's kinda weird. G. Then, oh, okay, layout returns bounce. So this must be this one. Okay, that was not very straightforward, like most of the stuff that I wrote back then. Like, what is this? It's very nichtssagend. Any people around already? No? Yeah, okay, I would also not come around today or tonight. At least not for general purpose entertainment. Because now, tonight, I wanna make something that is more like most coding streams. Something where you're just asking yourself, why did I have to watch this? And yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so this includes choose header, which means that this doesn't need to include choose header anymore. Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, great. Okay, so what's the next error that will be the first error in the list of thousands of errors? Color ID is text. Okay, what? Oh, right, because nothing is mod sys anymore. It is just GUI. Nice. So my recent change to get rid of one of the namespaces already makes me very happy, because this definitely looks better now. So what is the next error that is just the first error in this list? It's always good to orientate yourself on this list. That's usually where the easiest errors are, the top ones. Like here, update patch, value tree. It doesn't know what value tree is. Because it doesn't know that because apparently it was not defined. So if anyone is watching this as a video, currently no one in the stream, but if anyone is watching this as a video, I can just say that usually I make a header only dedicated for all of these usings, so that I can include it everywhere where it's needed, and then I don't have to deal with remembering in which hierarchy these headers are. But now I just have them all in NEL-G, and just expect NEL-G to be in modsys GUI. That is a little bit of a hierarchy, but it's good enough for now, because this is the file that contains everything. So once something is in this file, it is basically everywhere. So that's actually one of the few advantages of putting everything into the same file. But still, I wouldn't advise you to do that. Just because something has an advantage doesn't mean that it's advantageous. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Maybe it does not. So now I'm just putting these things everywhere, because I feel like they help with my mental health when everything has a little bit more space here. That can be very important whenever my code stresses me out way too much. This doesn't need to be const. Const is dumb, except when it's about pointers, then it's cool. Okay, so what is the most recent error now? Okay, why is this an error? Get value is float, I guess. Drag offset, but it doesn't really like parameter, I guess. Why? Error type. Hey? Why? Now that confuses me. This time the error doesn't really tell me why there is an issue. And this seems to be a duplicate function. Already has a body, which means I don't need to define it again. Okay. And that means that I can also put this one into this file to have it a little more clean. Okay, what's the next error that I have to solve? Cannot open include file NEL-G. No such file or direction. Why? Because this is in a different folder. Okay. It's kind of funny that it accepts all of the usings that are defined in NEL-G, but then it says it cannot open NEL-G. Like, I totally know where NEL-G is, but I still pretend like I cannot open it because you didn't specify that. Then it should just not react to it at all, in my opinion, but anyway. Params is undefined. But why? It should not be undefined. That's not cool. Oh, I wanna close all of these. Is someone in the chat? No? Okay, if anyone is watching this video, please answer a question. Do you know a hotkey for closing all of the methods? Because it's kind of annoying to do that by hand. If anyone knows a hotkey for that, let me know. That's actually a reason why I wanted to make a stream. Oh, now someone is there. Do you happen to be a programmer? I just had a question, and maybe you know the answer, which is if you know the hotkey for minimizing a bunch of stuff in a header file. Because it's kind of annoying to do that by hand. Do you happen to have the answer, viewer of this stream, or not? I mean here in Visual Studio. I know how it works in Notepad++, but now I forgot what I wanted to do here. Oh yeah, I wanted to find out why params is not available here. I did include modsys, but I guess I have to define what params is now. Okay, modsys 6 params. Okay, while I'm at it, I could also just define what param is, because it will definitely also come up. Great. Now I'm waiting for the next thing that happens. So something here goes terribly wrong. But it looks like everything goes terribly wrong, so it's kind of hard to look at this. Why? Okay, all of this stuff doesn't know what PID is, so maybe I should fix that first. PID of course means modsys 6 PID. Of course. What else? Okay, so this works now. Unreferenced formal parameter, but it's unreferenced. Why? Why is it unreferenced? It shall not be unreferenced. This is my utils object. Why would this be unreferenced? That would mean that I don't have, that my parameters are not available. Oh, I know why, because I decided to reference the parameters with the audio processor reference of this thing instead. Which means that I can throw this out of my constructor, which is always nice. I like when I can put stuff out of the constructor. Now there are just 3 things left in this constructor, which means that I can also change this. Where is it? Where is my utils? Ah, okay. So this I can throw it out. Now this works again, I guess. Please work again. Well, anyway, don't have time to wait for that. Would be cool if I actually managed to get rid of all of the errors tonight, but I'm really furious now about getting this to work. So now label just once. Hey, is it, why do I even have to specify GUI here? That's already in the same header. So, okay, the fact that I changed something about the namespaces even exposed some of the dumbness that I added here before, which is cool. Okay, this all looks very nice to me. I just double check. I double check everything all the time when I'm rewriting stuff like crazy, because there is always something that you might be missing. Label looks cool. Let's run it again. Maybe some people could take this video as a reference to how to navigate a situation where everything is just terrible. Okay, this is my log object. I wrote it because it's basically a button that you can click on to log a component. I don't know exactly why I didn't inherit it from button, but from component. But well, whatever, let's ignore that for now. So it doesn't know what 2ID is, but I know what it is. It is modsys 6 2ID, and it doesn't know what an identifier is, which is a shame, because I do know what it is. An identifier is an identifier. Yeah, thanks, GitHub Copilot, very smart. Okay. Yeah, let's run this again. This time it will surely work. Oh, what a surprise, it does not. Now what is this? Pi half. These are all undeclared identifiers. Yeah, because now I have them written in what is it called when stuff starts with a big letter? I forgot, but yeah, anyway, let's just change these then, and it will surely show me some more of these types of bugs. I can already go everywhere. Angle width will also work now. Hello. Okay, pcard is okay, it exists. Nice. Okay. Wait. This is int, this is float, and this is int again. What kind of dumb line is that? Okay. I cannot let that slip. Let's write this down correctly. Okay. And this is asking for a float buffer anyway, so this int as well. So it should also be treated as a width, and this should also be width. Great. Now whatever this does should now work better, and I can go on with something else. What's this? Okay, that was the same thing. Great, let's go on. Hello, random people who watch the stream. I am making terrible changes that introduce thousands of errors. So what's this? Unreferenced formal parameter. Yeah, because nothing happens. Great. Let's go on. Nice. I wanted to get rid of the extensive mod system of NEL and instead make an easier mod system. So that's why I'm rewriting everything. What is the problem with this? Local variable is initialized but not referenced. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Where are we? Mouse drag in where? Where are we? We are in the mod dial, okay. Yeah, okay, I cannot change that now because I still have to write some of the mod logic. So what is this? Get selected mod that this should definitely not be called MTC anymore, but mod index. Okay, but still, it's kind of annoying to see all these things now. So I have to make sure that this is not getting in the way when fixing all the other bugs. So I should probably just comment out everything that isn't connected to a local variable, or else it will annoy me all the time. Okay, let's go on. By the way, you can tell me about your day or anything, because this is a very cautious stream now. I'm not trying to actually fix something fast this time. I'm just chilling. So if you want to tell me anything, like what are you doing, how do you feel, what's the time over there, or who you are, let's go. What is this? Tooltip. I'm in my tooltip component now, which draws the tooltip. And I have some unnecessary lines here. Now that looks better, or does it not? It does. Great, so apart from that, everything looks cool. Yeah, tooltip component can be closed. Actually, all of these should be closed. I want to have more of an overview. Okay, let's go. NELG is not a name space. Yeah, it's true, because now it's GUI. Where are we even? Mods GUI. Ah, okay, so I don't even have to mention that it's GUI. Okay, so for some reason that was not liked. I guess we will see soon enough why. Okay, more unnecessary words. So you can already see this is going to look easier to read when it's done. It is just terrible right now. So what the fuck is this? Where are we? We are on the pop-up. Okay, there is a value pop-up, and it draws the value of the parameter that you currently hover. And for some reason, there is an issue here with the freeze index. When the kill method is being called, the freeze index should be above the highest freeze. But I just changed the layout of this class a little bit. It doesn't work with freeze time in milliseconds now, but with freeze time. So this should fix it. Great. So what's the next problem? Oh, hi. You are working on a remix for a British hip-hop artist. That's nice. I wish I could listen to it. Are you in my Discord? In that case, I could listen to it if you send me the track. If you even want that, I don't know. Some people are not that open about sending tracks around, especially when they are for other people. One of the important reasons why I made this a stream is, of course, because it's kind of boring to sit here and wait. Why is? Oh yeah, I can get rid of this namespace thing here. Now everything is going to be even more terrible because I got rid of an entire namespace. Let's just hope for the best. Boom. Even more errors. Okay. That was an easy one. go on. Yeah, nice. Hello, hello. Thanks for the encouragement. These are the most terrible days when you just have to mess with the entire code base so hard that just everything is terrible all over the place. I should put this on a different screen though. Let's see. Oh, no one of you sent me a track on Discord, so I guess you don't want to share it. Okay. Yeah, so everything looks terrible here, so I cannot see a thing. So I have to actually build the project to find out what to focus on. Or I could use my brain, but I don't want to. Because there is an IDE, and an IDE knows what has to be done next. Okay, everything else here looks kind of nice. Because the problem that I had with my modulation system, it's not, by the way, it's not the modulation system where you can select modulators that modulate the vibrato. That modulation system is staying the same it is. But there is another modulation system in NEL, the one that has these 4 macros, and they are for modulating plugin parameters. And that modulation system was just way too complex in this project, because it was originally designed to be extended with LFOs and stuff like that, and all of this kind of stuff. And then I just decided that it's totally overkill and it's just getting in the way, so that's why I have to rewrite everything. Because some of the things that are on my to-do list of things that I have to change about this whole plugin, some of these things are just very hard to solve when the modulation system is always so complex. Okay, wait, why does this suck now? Oh, okay, this is yet another namespace. Oh, fuck my life. Okay, then let's just keep it like this. I don't want to mess with this namespace too much. So that's definitely something that I wouldn't do anymore in new projects. I wouldn't scatter everything around in 20,000 namespaces, because it's getting really complicated to... Oh, this is also the menu namespace, okay. To keep track where to be able to write what and where not. Or I could actually just copy this shit, even though that's kind of a bad style to copy a lot of stuff, but I will just do it anyway. Then, because then I can finally do this. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Okay. Why did this work? Okay, because utils exist, but it doesn't know what utils are. That's problematic. Why not? Modsys GUI. They are definitely part of Modsys GUI. And I'm using the namespace. Oh, because the namespace name changed. Okay. Of course. So does it work now? Well, it should. Let's go on. Ah, okay. Yeah, I can understand that you don't want to share it or can't, because it is a job and everything. Why can I not take the thickness from the utils here? Where am I? I'm a text comp. Okay, I could. It just didn't let me immediately. some of these things aren't even used, like this one doesn't look like I'm even using it anywhere in the project, but I'm not quite sure, so I'm just tidying up everywhere. Let's go. Oh, we are in the menu, that's why it didn't look familiar, because in the menu I'm not looking very often. It's also a mess. It's actually crazy how good the plugin functions, considering how many of these classes just look like crap to me. But that's also why I have trust issues nowadays with other people's plugins. I can only advise musicians to not become plugin developers. That it is almost like when you're learning how to drive a car, because when you're learning how to drive a car, you also lose trust in all of the people you are driving with. You always trusted that when you are the co-driver of some random people, then they will definitely get you to the point where you want to go alive. But then when you actually have a driver's license, you do not trust all of the people anymore. And it's the same with making plugins. When you suddenly know all the things that can go wrong, you don't trust everyone anymore, which is great. Okay. Is anyone here? Okay, I'll tell you something. The most terrible thing about this menu is actually that I made a button here, a custom button only for the menu buttons here, but I already had a button in my other header where all of the general stuff lies, the mods sys GUI header. So I basically rewrote the button only that I have another button, and I don't know why. I really don't know why I punished myself by doing that. I don't want to see all that. I want to close all of these classes now. Okay, that was easier. I should have done it like this from the beginning. Why are all of these even open? Okay. Here is the button that I wrote initially, and then there is just a new button here for no reason. That has to be, and now I have to make a distinction between the two all the time. Yeah, you have sent me a DM, but the problem is I cannot play it back now, because if it is really to be respected that it's not being played publicly, then I cannot have it on the stream, I guess. Or can I? Except if I was wearing headphones now, but I don't want to. But I will definitely listen to it later. That would make sense, I guess. Okay, so where are we here? We are on the menu. Can I just take the label? Yeah, that works. Okay. Or I could be so brave and remove the button M and just see where that gets me. I mean, this doesn't have anything special to it that surely needs to exist. Or does it? It is basic. It's just a basic button functionality. If I remove this now, I can use the other button. I guess. Or let's be a little bit more cautious here. It might be that there was actually a reasonable intention. So now the button doesn't exist anymore. And I can use the other button. Right? Right? Not quite. But the other button has a blinky boy as well. So where is it? Where is my other blinky boy? Blinky Boy is an object that I came up with that makes the button light up quickly when it's being pressed in order to look a little bit more fancy. Of course, that's not even half as fancy as what's going on with Vital lately. Like, the developer of Vital has some extremely crazy ideas for how stuff can be animated. There, even when you hover a parameter, it already reshapes its form to something in a very smooth way, and I'm just like, how? That was so nice. I want that too. Okay, like, where is the Blinky Buoyance button? Why can I not access it? Oh, it's not part of this button. But why? Was that the reason why Blinky Boy, why I didn't have, like, why I made another button? Because this one didn't have Blinky Boy in it? Okay, then maybe I should just ignore that for now, because I don't want to make things too complicated now. So what if I don't use the Blinky Boy? I can re-add it some other time, I guess. Utils color, yeah, that's not something that still exists. All of my colors come from the shared color object, but it doesn't like shared here because we are in the menu namespace. Okay. Does this work? But I already included GUI. Why didn't this work? Yeah. Oh. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, I have a lot of these lines here. Then maybe I will just use this magic trick to replace all of them. Okay. Now the blinky flash can go away as well. And then everything works? Please? Yes. Nice. I bet the next time I'm running the plugin there are like thousands of bugs that need to be solved, but it will still be a better life overall. So where are we now? Mods GUI. But where? This is the mod component of the Perl noise mod. And here it doesn't like something specific, which is this method. Okay, why? Oh, I know why, because this is returning a reference now. Okay, that was easy. Easy. Oh, not easy. Because label M doesn't have utils or what? I don't get it. And yet another object that shouldn't exist, because I already had the label. So maybe I should actually remove the label as well. It takes longer and longer to scroll all the way up. Layout is part of this namespace. Thanks. Let's go on. What's the problem here? Where are we? ADSR rel. What's that? ADSR ABS. Oh, we are in the audio rate modulators component. And it doesn't like this because this parameter array wants to have pointers apparently, but why? Couldn't that be references? It could. So let's also use references here. References are nicer anyway. Why would we want to have pointers when it's always the same thing? That looks much nicer. Okay, I'm glad I don't have to mess with the actual logic of this thing. Looked a little bit complicated. And the other component. Ah, why is everything open? That's annoying. Ah, well, anyway, let's just hit build and see what happens. No, I don't want to deal with that. Okay, what's that? Oh, abstract. You cannot create a pointer to a reference. Oh, so I cannot make an array of references. Well, that is a shame. I always thought that's just not that this is just forbidden with vectors, but it's apparently also forbidden with arrays, even though they are just there on the stack. Okay, then I will just rewrite this with pointers. Even though that looks ugly. How did I get into coding? I was always just a musician, a beat maker, but I always wanted to make plugins. But I thought I'm too stupid for that. And then I found a course by Mad Cat Audio that says that you can finish an entire plugin in under a week if you follow his instructions. So I thought to myself, okay, if he says that, then it's either true or not. I definitely can spend a week to find out, and it turned out to be true. Obviously, it was not the most incredible plugin ever, but it was enough to just understand that everyone can actually make plugins if you really try. And yeah, that was pretty cool. Before, I only had a little bit of programming experience because I was using plugin script, Blue Cat Audio plugin script, to just low-key make some DSP scripts. And that was, now I'm kind of out of my thinking. Oh yeah, plugin script. Plugin script is nice because there you don't have to write all of this GUI code stuff, but just can focus on the part of the GUI that actually transforms the sound, the DSP code. And that's a very nice way to get started. So if you want to check out plugin script, you will probably be a little bit discouraged first because it costs €100, the plugin, but you can also just use the demo version. It actually hasn't got very annoying demo limitations. The sound will just drop out every minute or so. And apart from that, I think it also has slightly less parameters that you can define. And you cannot export to VST. But you can still write your own scripts and just get to learn it a little bit, which is the basic functionality. Okay, so what's the next thing that I should do? Aha, it still doesn't work. I'm so surprised. Let's just click on anything and see what it's telling me. Okay, this is the color selector, and it's surprised because it doesn't know what button M is. That makes sense because I removed button M. So instead, I will have to use different types of buttons here. Maybe the normal buttons. Yeah. And suddenly that works very well. So it was a good idea to remove the other button, I guess. Yeah, looks fine. But it still doesn't like this. Why? Why? Utils, notify, tooltip. Utils, tooltip. Ah, okay. Okay, so the constructor of my button M just worked a little bit differently, as far as I can see here. So this is the onClick function. Instead of having that in the constructor, it should be down here. Great. So this will not belong here. Button on click. Oh, GitHub Copilot knows what I want to do. That's nice. Now the default button, please. Default button on click. Come on. Yes. That's nice. Nice. Very helpful. And now these are the onPaint functions. Great. That was easy. Now everything works? Yeah, that looks good. Down here. So this is the color selector component. Right now I'm in the menu, and the color selector components in the menu where you can customize the look and feel of the plugin. And oh, I don't need to use namespace, do I? Yeah. Great. Today is an evening for cosmetical changes of the code. I want everything to look very nice and to function. Both. I want both. Okay, what's the next thing? Oh, thanks for your feedback on my plugin Manta. It's also one of my favorite plugins of the ones that I made. I didn't end up using all of the plugins that I made very excessively, but Manta is definitely one that I also use myself. And that's always a good sign. But some of the plugin is also kind of nonsense, I must admit. For example, this whole section at the end where you can type in a math formula in order to get a waveform out of it that kind of distorts the bandpass signal in some way, because realistically you don't really come up with good formulas for that in the heat of a mix. At least that's how I feel about it. So that part of my plugin decision was kind of nonsense. Okay, what's going on here? Why is all of this declared as an error even though it looks pretty fine? Maybe I should scroll higher to something else. Okay, now utils has playhead. Okay, I recently changed the whole plugin in order to always have a playhead, so I can get rid of this, I guess. But wait, what was this even? This was in the LFO component, the component that draws the LFO parameters, and this says if the project has a playhead, so like a DAW or anything, then the isSync parameter is being shown. And if the isSync parameter is selected, yeah, then isSync is being made visible and else is free. Man, that's a convoluted way to write that. I should have just done this and then do this, because set visible already has if statements in it, and there is some weirdness going on here. Now it's resolved. Why do I treat this like a bool when it isn't? The source section is very weird. Where is the actual variable? IsSync is an integer. But why? Do I ever need that to be an integer? That looks very confusing the way it is. Oh, it can be -1. Okay, why? I cannot really see the reason why this should ever be -1. Makes no sense to me. Okay, wait. Where was that? Here. Okay. Now it cannot be -1 anymore. It can only be false or true. And there's no distinction between these two anymore. Wait, it's the other way around. Yeah, so if it's smaller than, if it's bigger than 0.5, then it is sync when this parameter is true. Good. Oh, fuck, it's getting late. And this one should always be visible. So I guess it belongs into the constructor. Where is it even? Okay. I guess. Hello. What's going on? I'm currently making terrible changes, if you're wondering. I should probably repeat in regular intervals why I'm doing all this, in case more people arrived. There are two modulation systems in NEL, and one of them is too extensive, the one that controls the parameters. It was designed to be used with a lot of modulators, even though I only ended up using macros, 4 macros in it. And now I wanted to change it to only work with the 4 macros, because that means that I can optimize a lot of my code to look much easier to read and be more scalable for the future. Or is scalable the right word? Because it would be scalable if I kept the extensive modulation system. But I mean scalable as in I don't have to care about the modulation system all the time, but I can just focus on stuff that's more interesting to me. Like, what was the problem even? Oh yeah, one of the problems was that the modulation system didn't paint when num samples was 0, and that was the problem that I wanted to solve by not updating my modulation system with my event system anymore, but with a general timer that runs for all parameters at once, and they will just constantly check for the changes, and that way it's easier to see that when there is an issue, the issues cannot be everywhere, they can just come from a single direction. That was my overall idea. So far it looks like it will work, even though everything is terrible right now. Okay, it looks good. Let's go on. This is a label, and this is a button. This is a button, and this needs nicer names. Yeah, I really like this kind of debugging because it's sometimes when you're debugging stuff you have to really think very hard, but these types of debugs, even though there are a lot of errors, are actually nicer. You're just taken to the different places where an error occurs, and then you solve it. And usually these errors are easy because they are not very math heavy, but just like, oh, you have written that a little bit wrong types of errors. Image strip component, I'm not even using that, I think. But while I'm here I can still improve it a little bit. Or am I? Maybe I am, because this is the menu and I don't really know what's going on in the menu anymore. Writing menus is really boring, because when you are using a plugin you are not really thinking about the menus a lot of times. So obviously wasting time to come up with menus is also not the most expressive thing ever. Okay, let's just go on now. What's the thing that it wants me to do now? Oh, there are even more buttons that should be normal buttons. Oh yeah, and this will not work because the normal button doesn't have a constructor like that. But for some reason it pretends like it will work. Anyway. Yeah, lots and lots of errors. Oh, I got a question. Cubase or Bitwig? I would say Bitwig, but not everything about Bitwig. I mean, I came from Cubase, and that means that I have used Cubase most of my life, so I definitely know everything about what parts of Cubase are better than Bitwig, and I always notice that a lot when using Bitwig. And yeah, That's why I wanted to help the Bitwig team to actually improve their door to also have these strengths at some point. But they didn't like my attempts to help them. And one of these things, for example, was that I wanted them to implement track freeze, because most of Bitwig devs come from Ableton, and Ableton also doesn't have proper track freeze, but Cubase does have proper track freeze. So the thing is, these developers that didn't experience Cubase but just Ableton, they have no idea what they are missing out on when they don't implement track freeze. So I try to explain it to them, but it's really hard. They don't really get it, and I don't know. Does any one of you have Cubase? In that case, you should know how cool track freeze is. But if you don't have Cubase, I can try to explain it, and maybe this time I'm able to actually explain it correctly. Wait. Oh, this was a line. Okay. Track freeze is a button that you can hit, and it will freeze the entire track. It's a bit like bouncing, but instead of bouncing something onto itself or a new track, it is only bounce in the background. You don't really see the bounce. Track freeze, nice features, especially on old years. Yeah, RAM and stuff, and CPU especially. Because when you're freezing a track, then suddenly all of the effects that you had on the track don't have to work anymore, because in the background there is just a WAV file that is being played back now that was rendered from all of the stuff. That's why freezing a track takes very, very long. Yeah, Ableton has track freeze, but the track freeze in Ableton sucks balls majorly. I have looked how it looks in Ableton. The problem with Ableton is when you are freezing a track there, then it will generate an audio event that is just put there. Like you want to use the bounced out audio in a new track or anything like that. That's not the intention of track freeze. Track freeze, if it's implemented correctly, then it lets you go back to what the track was when you are unfreezing it again. So in Cubase you can hit the freeze button, and then it will just gray out everything in the GUI on the track in order to show you that you cannot drag it anymore or touch it or cut it or anything. But you can at every point, first of all, it will not show you the waveform in order to tell you, okay, you don't get an audio file from this that you can tweak. It is just freezing what is there. But then when you hit unfreeze, it stops being grayed out anymore, and it uses the effect chain again, and you are still on the same track. And that's just great. Say you have a very complex routing setting with sidechaining and stuff like that. Something is sidechained to the track that you want to freeze. If you freeze that track, then it will automatically also freeze the track that the sidechain stuff came from. Because, why not? The DAW knows where the routing comes from, so why would it not just also freeze that track for consistency? Because otherwise you could get into the situation where a track is frozen and the sidechain pumping is being rendered into that frozen track, but then you change the notes on the track that has the kicks on it, and then suddenly it doesn't match each other anymore. And that's what can happen when track freeze is not properly implemented. And then, sidechaining, compressing kicks with bass lines is only the easiest example of sidechaining. If you have anything more complex going on in your project, then you can easily lose track of what's going on. And if the DAW then doesn't do the job for you, you just end up doing something confused. In Bitwig, it's especially terrible. Because Bitwig has, in my opinion, one of the best modulation systems and routing systems ever, which means that I'm majorly overusing it. I am putting audio receivers and MIDI receivers everywhere. Basically, all of my projects are full with sidechain things. So, it didn't happen only once that I accidentally deleted something by bouncing a track somewhere else and then using the bounced audio, and then for some reason some older logic didn't work anymore. One example, for example. Oh shit, I have to drink something before I have such a dry throat. Okay, it's not hard to come up with an example of why track freeze is needed. Wait up. My camera is a little bit too low. Okay. Bitwig has the bounce and place feature, which bounces whatever is on the track into the same track. Say you have a MIDI track, something with the synthesizer, and you use bounce and place to just get the audio into that place, so that you don't have to use the synthesizer and its effect chain for a while. I don't know, for whatever reason you want to do that. And the Bitwig developers thought it's an extremely smart move to let the user have so-called hybrid tracks that can be MIDI and audio whenever you want. But it's actually just incredibly stupid, because you might have a MIDI receiver, a note receiver on a different track, and you forgot about the note receiver, and you bounced in place the notes, and then there are the notes are not there anymore, and your logic doesn't work anymore. And yeah, if you don't immediately notice your mistake, then you are just lost at that point, because it might be that you just keep on working on some other stuff, and then you suddenly notice that there was a mistake, and you cannot just Ctrl-Z back to where you were, because that would be very annoying. Even if it was possible, you would have to get rid of so much progress that you will just not do it. And another example, you could just say, okay, bounce in place is maybe just crap, but if you use bounce itself, there are also examples why that sucks ass for track freeze. Wait, how did that example work again? Because sometimes it's really hard to figure out what exactly the thing was. But that's also one of the reasons why they should implement track freeze, because you really don't want to have this in your mind all the time. Okay, wait. You're bouncing something to a new track. So that you can deactivate the track that you're currently on. Right. Oh yeah, but it might be that you have an audio receiver going from the track that you just deactivated. Right, that was the thing. Yeah, and then that doesn't work. So, bouncing tracks, a cool feature for sound design. Definitely, I'm using it. I love it. When it was new in Cubase, I just felt like it was a total game changer, because Cubase only had track freeze, and only then came up with the idea that they could also just add a bounce feature. And in Bitwig it's the other way around. They only have the bounce features and no track freeze. And I think it doesn't make sense to start with a normal bounce feature when you're making a DAW, because it's just simpler to implement. And it's very useful. But not implementing track freeze is just dumb. At least they should warn you if it breaks. Yeah, that would be cool if they warned you, like a little message that showed you, like, okay, this might be a bad idea, by the way. They do not do that. They expect you to have all of your things in mind at all times. Yeah, and I just told the developers of Bitwig all that. Like I told them all of the examples, what could go wrong, and I told them that it happened to me, and that will probably happen again. And I don't know, they act like it's not a thing all the time. So that's kind of annoying me. And at some point, I bought new computer parts to build a new computer. My new computer is really cool. I'm very happy with it. But I did buy it partially because Bitwig was so annoying. It was so annoying that I could not scale up my projects because it was missing track freeze. So I would only recommend Bitwig to people with good computers or people with enough money to improve their computers. Otherwise, Cubase. Not Ableton, not Bitwig, but Cubase. Oh yeah, you could write them as well. If I'm not the only one who knows, then maybe they like that then. I don't know. Okay, wait. In Reaper you can freeze a number of tracks with all effects chain. Okay. As a sub project, you can access to it at any point without unfreezing. Hey, but what's the point then when you can access it without unfreezing? Are you even saving resources then? How does it work? That's confusing me right now. But I don't have an opinion on that because I didn't experience it myself. It might be cool. I can just say that the track freeze in Cubase gave me a really good feeling. And that's just one of the few things that were done very well with Cubase. Everyone is always hating about Cubase, but there are just things that they did very well, and track freeze is one of them. It was one of those things where you could just completely turn off your brain and just focus more on the sound. Like, I had some super crappy computers in the past, and when it came to the point where I could not go on because of performance, yeah, I just hit track freeze, and then I left the room and made myself some coffee because I knew it will take very long to bounce this. It's one of the major points of critique that I get from people, that track freeze would be so long, takes so long to freeze a track. Why would I even want that? Yeah, it's true, it takes very long. But when you come back, you not only have a coffee, but you can also just go on and work on your track. And you don't have to buy a new computer. And I think that's pretty cool. Fuck, is this annoying? It's all the same. I want some different errors every once in a while. Wait, what is this even? That is the buffer size update thingy. I got rid of that in my last update. I don't need it anymore. Wait, if button name is buffer size, so I can get rid of all of this. Oh wait, that was the only text box type of thing that can be used at all. So maybe I don't even need the entire function anymore. That would be nice. Always nice when you don't need anything. Great. Well, it's not quite typos that I'm correcting here, because I actually changed a lot about certain names. So it's not that I mistyped a lot of stuff, but it kind of mistyped itself by me changing the names. I just wanted it to be more readable in the future. So I no, not accidentally, but purposely produced a lot of errors and a hard time on myself. Logic Pro Studio had freeze as well. Yeah, I mean, Logic is. I always feel like that Logic is a DAW that tries to be Cubase but for Mac, so it makes sense that they also have track freeze. I also don't look back on Bitwig, by the way. I'm very happy with it, especially the routing, like that I can put tons of layers on everything non-stop, and for some reason it even performs quite well, which is very surprising actually, even with a good computer, because parallel processing just means that you have to do a lot of stuff at the same time, and that like constantly. I would have expected this to just be terrible when being even slightly overused, but I'm overusing it so hard. So yeah, that's definitely cool about Bitwig. Studio One. Oh, I never really understand Studio One actually. I have Studio One as well. I even bought it because I felt like I need to have some DAWs for debugging. Ah, okay. But what I don't get about Studio One is what exactly are the features that make it stand out from other DAWs? What makes people feel like, okay, I need Studio One, or Studio One is my choice, or anything, rather than, oh, someone just told me Studio One is cool. That's how I found to Cubase initially. Just someone gave me a version of Cubase, a cracked one, and then I just had it, and that's what I learned. But how would you, in a legit way, come to Studio One? That's always the question that I'm asking myself. Oh wait, doesn't like that? Why not like that? Oh, okay, this is GUI. Great. Now finally, it looks like there are not many errors left, but I'm pretty sure that once some of them are gone, 1,000 new errors will appear. Because it's just not logical that there are just so few errors. Or is it? Will I be done with this tonight? Or will I have to go to sleep before? Unreferenced. Oh yeah, obviously. When the plugin is bypassed, I don't need the MIDI buffer. So what comes now? Okay, more removing text from namespaces stuff. Okay. Okay, so what's going on here? This is my event system. A color has been changed from the color selector. So I'm making a new cursor with a new color, and then I'm repainting the component. And what's this? That's a make notify for the depth modes, but the depth modes don't exist anymore, so I can remove it. That's nice. Okay. What's next? This is the label. The label just gets the different colors. Okay, now it's getting really nice. These lines, I always found them way too long, and now they are getting a little bit shorter, which is very pleasant. These ones are still too long. I have to come up with a way to make them even shorter. Maybe a free function that creates the parameter for me with less stuff. To mention, like in my default plugin template, I have a function where you can just give it the parameter ID and it will return the tooltip, so it doesn't clutter up the code. But I don't have that here, and that's why it's still super long. What is this? Mod type macro. What? Oh, the mod types don't exist anymore, do they? Oh, I know why, because there are no different modulators anymore. Yeah, that's just what I said before. This modulation system was capable of different types of modulators, but I removed that functionality. So obviously this is going to be simpler now. Is this the right format now? Yeah, it is. Great. Now it's slowly starting to make sense what I'm doing here. Okay, what are you writing? Oh, okay. So a bit of everything. I want my code to be more readable, but I also want to be able to implement new features faster. And the modulation system that I had in there that was very complicated didn't quite make it easy to just tweak some things or fix a bug when there was one. Because it was capable of very complicated things, like modulators modulating each other, and modulators having lots of parameters, and then modulating parameters of modulators that also have parameters, while those modulate the parameters of the modulator that just tries to modulate that modulator, and stuff like that. And then you have to handle all that, and it's getting quite annoying sometimes, especially considering that I don't even use all that functionality in the first place. And I have a bunch of things on my to-do list that have something to do with the modulation system, and I just want them to get away. So I decided that I make things easier now. Easier to read, and in the end also less error prone. So something about this is still not working. Why? Menu button. Utils. This is the tooltip. Alright, because it is the different button again. So these two things don't belong here. Okay. So menu button now needs... Oh fuck, this whole thing is sorted so bad. But anyway. On click is this one, and then menu button on paint is this one. Great. So here I'm making the cursor of this component. My custom cursor is still the best thing about all of my plugins ever. So what is this? NEL with, yeah, NEL doesn't exist anymore. This is now GUI. Okay, what's happening now? Oh, What a short list of errors. I can barely believe it. Will we see the end of the tunnel? Will we see the light very soon? I can almost not believe it. What is this? Modsys 6. Make vibrato visualizer identifier not found? Huh? That's weird. Let's just solve something different for now. This was easy. Something in here as well? No, everything looks good here. Okay. Now we only have the annoying things left. And it looks like it isn't a lot. The visualizer doesn't have an update timer method. It is inaccessible. Oh yeah, it is. So now it's accessible. And paint should be there as well. Paint's always accessible anyway, so no protected. Okay. No new errors, I guess. Oh shit. No overload function takes 4 arguments. It would be great if it told me where exactly this happened. Here, okay. Okay, I'm trying to make a button into a unique pointer. So I have to first make it. Okay, how does it even work? Back, buttons, back, and then dereferencing. And then this is just the reference, yeah. So now I can do this. Okay, that should work. Okay, I guess I just have to do the same thing again. Oh, can I not just copy it from where I was before? I will not find it, I guess. Wait, entries is also an array of buttons or what? Oh no, it is component. Fuck, I have to do it differently this time. Because otherwise, this thing will not know that it's a button. Okay, wait. What if I make a button with new? One should never use new, but I think in this case it is justified. Because I can pass on ownership to the unique pointer, if I am not mistaken. Doesn't it work like that? I should probably... Or is anyone here that can tell me if it works like that? When I have a pointer to something and then I put it into the unique pointer, will the unique pointer then automatically take the ownership of this and make sure that this is correctly handled? Or do I still have to call delete on this one or whatever? Because I'm not sure. Anyone knows? Or maybe I should make this a unique pointer. That would also be a an option. Maybe that's safer. Ah. Okay, unique pointer button. Or actually, this could be shorter by just saying auto and then SD make unique button. Okay, so now the button exists, and now if I push back this, will this work? I guess. Okay. I have no idea about assemblers. I just want to know how pointers work, and I sometimes get confused about that. I mean, I know how pointers work, but in special cases like this, I'm just confused. Okay, it didn't like that. This was definitely not the way to do it. Button. Swap? No. Release? I think release was the thing that releases the pointer so that it can have find new ownership somewhere else. Or not? Yeah, I mean, we can try. Okay, so it didn't like that as well. I mean, maybe I should really just try the method that I had in the beginning with new. So now I'm just having I'm having a pointer. I'm creating an object on the heap. I'm doing the things. Then I'm dereferencing it to the object and say this object should now belong to the unique pointer, and that should theoretically now make this pointer invalid, I guess. Okay, it does look different now, my errors. I get different errors. That's good. Okay, that's bad. Shit. Okay, what am I doing now? Maybe I could do it like this. I will still construct the button into my entries and just put this afterwards. And button is now entries back get dereference to the component, and because entries seems to be a component array, and then dynamic cast, right? Or no, it's reinterpret cast button. Very convoluted way. Does it work? Oh, it's without std, right? Why not? Okay, maybe without dereferencing and instead making this a pointer and then dereferencing that, and then this is a reference, and then I just have the object. Yeah, okay, that worked. Very convoluted. I don't like it, but it works, I guess. Yeah, have a good time. Okay, one error less. We are very close to finish the thing. This will probably need a similar solution. I wanna see my plugin again now that I've so majorly hurt it. I just wanna see it happy again. My plugin should become alive. Oh, here's the thing. Oh wait, is that a different thing? No, it's the same. Okay. So I can just take this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's just run this. Oh, finally it works again. Nice. But I should probably not try to use the modulation system now. It will definitely break immediately. Oh yeah, what is this? Like it just goes from 0 to 100 and nothing in between. Just some crazy shit is going on. Cannot use it like that. Oh, even the normal parameters don't work correctly. Holy shit. Okay, but at least it builds. Like that's nice. Very nice. Now the next days I just have to figure out what exactly makes it behave completely crappy. And when I have that, then I am happy again myself. Oh, look at that. That looks quite nice. Actually not that convoluted. Okay, anyway. This was terrible, and I think that's a nice way to sum up this stream. Goodbye, everyone.